So you want to be a Formula 1 driver? Well, unfortunately, even if you've got the talent, motor racing's absurd price tag means you've got more chance of winning the lottery. Of course, no elite level motorsport has ever been a cheap pastime, but in recent years, it has virtually put itself out of reach for the vast majority of young up-and-comers. Even so, you might have the vision of following in the footsteps of Lewis Hamilton or Pierre Gasly, both of which came from relatively modest backgrounds and whose families worked tirelessly to give them a foothold on their dreams of an F1 seat. In that case, you should probably get an idea of how much the journey to the top of motorsport actually costs. No matter your financial position, every future F1 driver's journey pretty much starts the same way, with karting. It's a crucial stage of most single-seater racing careers, providing a chance to learn racecraft as well as building a reputation within the sport, but it comes at a great cost. First, you'll need a competitive kart. Rotax Max karts are some of the most recognised in the UK, costing anywhere between £6,500 to £9,500, depending on the size and the driver's age. Add a helmet and a race suit, and that's £10,000 gone before even loading up your van or trailer. The costs only keep coming once you're looking to compete seriously. A full season in the UK entry-level Super 1 series costs a minimum of around £6,000, when you include entry fees to 8 races, 8 sets of tyres, fuel and travel. If you succeed there and move on to national titles with greater exposure, costs increase to approximately £8,000 a season. At this point, you might be thinking that annual costs of around $18,000 don't sound too extortionate, but we're not done just yet. If you're quick and rich enough in the national karts, the next level is the European and World Karting Championships, which can cost an eye-watering £200,000 per season. Luckily, there is an alternative. You can skip the European karting scene altogether and jump straight into single-seaters. At some point, no matter how good you are in a kart, you'll have to prove yourself at this level if you have any chance of kicking Max Verstappen out of his Red Bull. So after roughly 8 years in karts, you can now spend a couple of years in the UK's GB3 series, costing you over £300,000 per season. But if you want to be winning, then a budget of £400,000 is much more realistic. The extra cash gets you more testing time, more race entries, and even more car parts, so you don't have to be as cautious when fighting wheel to wheel. But from there, it's a big jump. If you want to continue to move up the motorsport ladder, a grid spot for the Euro F3 series can cost you upwards of £850,000. But the good news is that your performance in F3 will tell you whether you're on track for F1 or if those 6 figures were spent chasing a pipe dream. So you've won your national championship and you've bumped into Toto Wolff at an award ceremony. Is the big time finally here? It may well be, but it'll cost you another £2.5 million to find out. To make it clear, that is the bare minimum you'll need to pay for a seat on the F2 grid, with travel costs on top, including to the new Australian round. At that price, you're also unlikely to find yourself in a leading car, making it even more difficult to attract the attention of F1 teams. Still, if your family haven't mortgaged all their houses and drained their pensions to get you to this stage, then maybe your path to F1 could be eased with even more cash. Another 10 million ought to do it. Find the right team in need of a driver at the right time, and you could be lining up on the F1 grid for a typical career outlay of £17.9 million. Of course, there are ways of spending even more. Lance Stroll's father, Lawrence, is reported to have spent up to $80 million on extra testing, dedicated engineers, and even a simulator to smooth his son's path to Williams in 2017. He then moved to Racing Point, now rebranded as Aston Martin, when Stroll Sr. took control of the team. So with F1 effectively closed off unless you're willing to spend millions, or if you get lucky with a golden ticket from an F1 Academy team, there's no wonder drivers take such high risks in order to make the leap, and is a clear sign to F1 to find a cheaper way for talented drivers to break through.